Oh, hey! Jon Prosser here, the guy from the thing that you might have seen. In the last video we uploaded, we discussed the announcement of Apple Intelligence and just how game-changing we think it is. Maybe you don't think it is, but we do. And that's the funny thing about opinions. They can be different. But there was this repeated conversation that was happening in the comments of that video, claims that I have heard before and shrugged off, but it seemed to be a bigger deal this time for some reason. That I came across as too much of a fanboy, a shill, and that the only way I would possibly be saying the things that I was in that video was if I was paid by Apple. So, am I? Am I being paid by Apple? Have I ever received a dime from Apple? And even if not direct payment, surely, right? Front Page Tech is working with Apple secretly in some capacity. Before I answer that question for you, it really got me thinking about how opinions work online. There's this odd trend that's happening that if you're positive about something, anything, well, then you must not be being genuine. The only thing that counts as true honesty in this space is pessimism, cynicism, negativity. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but cynicism does not equal honesty. And if you've been watching this channel long enough, then you know that historically I have been pretty back and forth on almost everything Apple has ever announced, updated, shipped, everything. Literally in the video that came out right before our Apple Intelligence video that everyone is so upset about, I called the customization features in iOS 18 Dollar Tree Android customization. Customization for the home screen. And I mean like for real this time, like actually not quite Android, but like if you got Android at the Dollar Tree customization. I don't know about you, but that does not sound like a guy that is being paid by Apple. But maybe I am, and I just said those things to throw you off the trail. Somewhere along the line, words like trustworthy and unbiased have just become, oh, he said the thing that I think. Thanks for being honest. I really think that it all boils down to one thing, and that is validation. And I feel that's true for most viewers, right? Even I get swept up in that sometimes. You're looking for validation of your own feelings, your own opinions, your own emotions. Sometimes you're looking for validation just to justify a purchase that you made or a purchase that you are about to make. We aren't really looking for true honesty, are we? And I think that's okay, because that is where bias comes into play. And regardless of what you've been made to believe online, especially here in the tech space, having a bias, not a big bad thing. Being actually unbiased is nearly impossible. We are all human and we all have our own biases, and that's going to come into play in every conversation we have. Sometimes it's a subconscious thing. It is natural and it is okay. I am not going to stand here and pretend to be an unbiased person, and I'm certainly not going to stand here and pretend that somehow Front Page Tech, FPT, is an unbiased organization when that is certainly not the case. If we are biased people, the content that we make is going to come across as a tad bit biased, don't you think? In fact, anyone claiming to truly be unbiased is likely lying to you and themselves. If anything, me being upfront and open with you about my bias is me being honest with you. I care enough to put my name behind something, instead of just standing somewhere in the middle, spouting out crowd-pleasing takes, masquerading as honesty. I think the real move as a viewer, if what you're looking for truly is fairness and unbiased views on something, is to check out both sides of the bias. Find someone that you trust that has the more positive outlook and hear them out. Find someone that you trust that has the more negative outlook and hear them out. Though, I think you'll discover that usually the ones that have a knack for defaulting to negativity and cynicism, those are the ones not being honest with you. I say that as someone who has been there, all right? Negativity garners attention, it garners views. And I'm not sure who to blame for that. I'm not sure if the YouTubers that do it are at fault for creating that as a thing, or if it's the viewers' fault for clicking on the negativity. The real answer, I think, is somewhere in the middle. I think it's the fault of all of us. And you know what? That's okay, because that is what makes us human. I want you to hear both sides. I trust you to be able to make up your own mind. But when you write off the opinions of someone, anyone, who's trying to speak to you, you lock off any possibility that maybe you don't know everything, and maybe, just maybe, you can learn something new. I know we can't fix tech content and all of the tech community, but as for me, Brian, Front Page Tech, we are trying so much more to lean less on our own narratives and instead more on how we actually feel in the moment. And I hope that sort of reflects in the content lately. I'm okay with being wrong, as long as I end up telling you how I actually feel. When Vision Pro was originally announced, I said this: Apple came across as confused, wildly disconnected and disassociated from their users. And then, of course, when I finally had one of my own and tried it for myself, we did a review video where I said, well, not the thing that I said in that last clip. Apple Vision Pro is easily the single most technologically impressive thing I have ever experienced in my life. A real risk Apple took to show us the future. Front Page Tech has been a lot of things over the years. We have been the ones pushing the negative agendas. We have been the ones doing anything and everything for the click. We have been the ones causing a ruckus just to cause one. We're just willing to be honest about that. You might have noticed that there has been a pretty dramatic change in our content lately, and it happened kind of abruptly, starting with our Tim Cook documentary. That, of course, is by design. Brian and I have spent countless hours having meetings and discussing who and what we want to be in this space. We've been doing this for like 12 years, and the truth is we were just unhappy. We became very unhappy making the same show over and over again that we could have continued to make forever with our eyes closed. The cringe thumbnails and repeated YouTube titles just weren't making us feel good anymore. We've been talking about the same products just with different numbers at the end of them for years, and as we get older, we've realized that this time next year, none of this stuff actually matters. You'll forget, we'll forget, and then we'll do it all again next year, rinse and repeat. That is the industry, and that just was not fulfilling us anymore. We've made a conscious decision to at least pursue making content that we believe matters. We've made about 1,300 episodes of this show. If you've been watching long enough, you have watched me grow up. But if you asked me a year ago how many of those episodes I was proud of, I don't know, maybe I would have been able to pick out 3 or 4 for you. This is so unfortunate to say, but this is the first time in ever that we've truly been proud of every single thing we upload. I'm proud of the impact that we've made, the small little dent in this community that we have made. I'm proud that for the first time in such a long time here in the tech space, there's something new that is trickling in to the rest of the community. I hope that you start to see more thoughtful tech content that wants to matter, wants to mean something, that wants to tell a story, and wants to give you something to think about, rather than just taking as much of your time as possible in exchange for ad revenue. Whether you like the changes that we have made here or not, whether you trust me or not, whether you agree with me or not, the real new mission here at Front Page Tech is to encourage you to think deeper, think bigger, think longer term than all of the short-term news that you have become accustomed to from us and from, well, kinda everyone. We're going to try to focus much less on what is happening today and more on what it all means for us tomorrow. When I am passionate about something and when we make a video without even placing a sponsor read in it, it comes from a genuine place. We opt to leave the sponsor out, even if that's a silly decision for us to make, because that's how much we believe in the story we are trying to tell, and we want you to have the best experience. So next time you hear me say overtly positive things, before defaulting to the very lazy, low-hanging fruit of a response of, oh, bro, just glazing, what a shill, know that yes, I mean the things that I'm saying. Yes, I actually feel that way. And yes, there is a chance that I might be wrong. But one thing I'm not is paid by Apple.